Hello, this is Evangelist Dr. Robert L. McKim Sr. from Carrollton, Ohio. First off, I wanted to say real quick here that this Mr. Moo on Kiwi Farms, of course he sent me a message on my YouTube, and he wrote a letter to me on Kiwi Farms apologizing in a way for his harsh criticism. And of course, yet criticizing the video I did let me get to it here. This is a video I did that he took, and he took no, that's a video that he did right there, and he took a portion of a video that I did, so he renamed it. And here's my original right here, preaching that we are headed as a church if we don't take a stand now. I'm saying as a church, because see, the church is in trouble as well. The church in Iowa is being told what they can and cannot say in church. And as well, police officers, as the instruction booklet says, I just mentioned this briefly in my other video, but if you read it here, racial profiling is of growing concern to law enforcement officers and the public. Then down here it says, many of these stops are pretext stops where the stop is justified by a minor equipment or moving traffic violation that might otherwise be ignored, where the practice is widely experienced. It has been called driving while black or brown, as the root of such a practice is racial stereotyping and prejudice. So if a black person is pulled over, or a brown person, for supposedly a minor traffic violation, and they look at it as it's, racial profiling. You know what I mean? Now, we have an officer that killed a black man. One, because I think he was scared. He was not mentally capable of being a police officer at that point in time. And in my video here at basically 4:05 was starting where I'm talking about it. When are we going to stop letting these police officers and judges get away with what they're doing? And see, that's what I was talking about right there. We need to stop having the Supreme Court judges dictating what marriage is. Dictating that we have the right to kill unborn babies. and other judges out there going along with the left. Some of the left say they're Christian. Prove it. Prove you're Christian. Because there's more to being a Christian than just loving one another. You can say you love me, but show it. I probably wouldn't see a left or right, for that fact, coming here from Cleveland, Ohio. While they're up there in Cleveland, Ohio, they could come down here and lend me a hand. I'm not too far from Cleveland. They could come down here and lend me a hand if they're really Christian. Because that's what being a Christian is about. Not just saying, I love you, and here's some money. But helping your brother or your sister, lending a physical hand to help them in time of need. The church is not the church anymore. They say, well, you know, we give you Social Security. We pay our taxes. At least you're getting Social Security. Should be happy with that. Let me finish saying something here else. That Newt Gingrich was on Hannity, and what he said about this issue with the police. See, taking that video that I did and taking everything I said out of context is what Newt Gingrich has just said.
Now witnessing police officers, law enforcement, the front line of our defense in our towns and our cities, targeted, ambushed, lying in wait. They're now bringing them in and assassinating our police officers. What is your reaction to Baton Rouge and Dallas?
Well, this is a war against the police and against our civilization, fully as much as Nice or Orlando or San Bernardino are a war against our civilization. I think, one, we should pass a law that says if you advocate killing police, that is in fact incitement, and it ought to be a felony. We don't have to tolerate people going.
That's called a terroristic threat, isn't it?
Yes, and so we should apply that directly. Two, I think that we should equip the police with the most modern.
So that's all I'm going to play right there. Basically, it should be incitement. I wasn't trying to incite anything. I'm just trying to get Christians to wake up. Now, our rights are being violated. Here's this is the instructor edition. This is what the instructor has to teach out of. And I already showed you the law enforcement. We need it, yes, because there are a lot of bad guys out there. A lot of criminals out there. That all they want to do is hurt somebody, kill somebody. Now they're taking aim at police officers. Because mainly they're mad and they're hurt over what had happened. What about the boy in Cleveland that was shot and killed? I mean, he was playing outside of a rec center. You know, just kind of waving the gun around, playing with it, twirling it, and, you know, pointing at people, probably pretending to be a police officer, or who knows, cowboy, or who knows what he was pretending to be at the time. What would that police officer had shot him if he was wearing a police uniform? See, another thing too that a lot of people don't realize. This came out back in 2000. Oh yeah, 2009, April of 2009. And in this report, it states that extremists can be basically people who believe in end time theories. Basically, the Bible, God's Word, that talks about end time prophecy. See right there, end time theories. I'm an extremist. Jim Baker is an extremist, according to this report. People who stockpile food, Jim Baker, and anybody who's bought food from him, also stockpile weapons and ammunition. Again, and it says right here, individuals and groups in the past, such as violent Christian identity organizations and extremist members of the militia movement. Look it up on the internet. You can find it on the internet.
She drove by approximately 20 minutes ago and observed what looked to be like two females walking around in the residence.
It just irks me to no end that our government, the people that we elect, are turning against us. You know, they're teaching police officers, basically they have the right to use excessive force in order to have control of the situation. Even when that situation doesn't merit control. Racial profiling. Granted, we need to profile. We need to have discernment. We need to be able to profile who the real terrorists are. The world, as I keep saying, this whole world's gone mad. It's gone nuts. Jesus said in the last days, perilous times will come first. And then tribulation. And then he returns in the sky. He doesn't say perilous times, he will return, and then tribulation. No, he didn't say that way. Like some false preachers keep preaching. We're going to be out of here before anything happens. Well, if that's the case, why don't you just warn us of what will happen and gave us a timeline of how things will progress? perilous times, tribulation, and then he says immediately after the tribulation of those days. He didn't say before the tribulation. The return isn't before the tribulation. The return is after the tribulation. But what kind of tribulation is he talking about? He's not talking about the wrath of God, because the wrath of God takes place after the 1,000-year reign, when God, throws all those that do not believe into the lake of fire, and they're destroyed forever. That's the wrath of God. A lot of people say, well, the wrath of God is when and the bowls are dished out, when we got the hellfire and brimstone. No, that's not the wrath of God. That's God changing the earth to reform it. But there's a lot of so-called Bible scholars out there that are not Bible scholars at all. They're only taught what their church wants them to teach. They're not taught the true Word of God. And as I have said many times, I had dreams and visions. I had a dream early Sunday morning that I was in church, and all of a sudden we're hearing all this commotion outside, and we go outside, and jets, military jets and helicopters and are flying over, and there's paratroopers paratrooping out of the airplanes, landing all around with, and then there's armored trucks and tank-like vehicles going all around, and military troops. And someone, of course, was listening to the radio and said that we're at war. Basically, martial law was declared, and the military was called out onto the United States. The UN took over. Our own military took over because we were under martial law. And I see it coming faster and faster and faster, because the church doesn't want to wake up and take a stand. And people are taking my videos and making it sound like I hate cops. I love and respect cops, but I've had a lot of bad experiences with police officers not wanting to do their job. Instead, they wanted to harass me. And even today, trying to report the stuff that's going on my YouTube and with that Kiwi Farms, and I might as well be talking to a brick wall. Because a lot of people say, well, that's freedom of speech. Is it really freedom of speech to take what I say and make it sound like I hate cops? I wanted to be a police officer when I was younger. And that's why I went for that private police and security, law enforcement training. Because one, I knew I couldn't really, be a police officer because of my health problems I was having at that time still. But I wanted to be something, and I worked as a security guard, but let me tell you something. Some of the security companies that I worked for had a yellow light on top of my vehicle, big light bar. And they said, we don't want you wearing our uniform, driving your own personal vehicle with that yellow light bar on top. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, I can wear the pants. And then when I get to my, where I was working at, then I can, when I go in, I can, to the bathroom, then I can put my uniform shirt on. How stupid is that for a secure company to tell somebody that? Just because I have a yellow light, not a red light, but still, you know what? If I had a red light and I was a volunteer firefighter or an EMT, they still had no right to tell me I could not wear that uniform shirt. Well, I was trying to save somebody's life. But they think they have the first security job I had, I was wrongfully fired from. Because my supervisor didn't like me. Because her husband found out she was cheating. Because I would not lie on the telephone. And all I just said was what they more or less told me to say, that she was in a meeting with somebody. Well, she was actually having an affair. Needless to say, after I was fired, I saw her and some of the other guards in the unemployment office. God took care of her. Just like God is going to take care of all these people. Even though they're apologizing, God's going to take care of them. I think I've said enough as it is. I'm just so tired of the racial profiling. I'm so tired of government coming down on churches and saying that we gotta do what they say we gotta do. Wake up before it's too late. Jesus is coming back soon. Getting closer and closer and closer. Are you ready? Are you ready for the call? Are you ready to hear the trumpet? I know I am. God bless you. Have a blessed day.